What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
Did you get him talking while you were starting?
Okay. Listen, I want him to get it all out before, but he... To my left.
People's champ.
The people's champ. Is that what we're saying? Mr. Upscale Vandal? Comments coming
What's
a little
up?
back to you? Listen,
Only time will tell.
He said he was going to be the GR King today, and then...
Wait till we get into that story.
Hold on, though. GR King hasn't had a GR in sight in 4 weeks. Okay. I will say, though, I was in Chicago for the KITH opening this week. I landed, got there. We took a walk. Within 15 minutes, a restaurant, I think manager or owner came up to me. If you're out there, comment and validate the story. It's like, loving the pod. So happy you guys are back. So... Listen,
I'm hearing it.
I gotta get a shirt for Mike that says I went to JD Sports and nobody knew you.
I don't know. I think they know me heavy out there in JD.
Wait, why'd you say that?
Because
No
he's saying he's the GR King,
So we should get into.
What happened? Yeah, listen.
So today,
you and Roman Reigns last night. Can you acknowledge him? Do you know who Roman Reigns is? The
wrestler.
Yes, he wore
sure.
the undefeateds. Can we acknowledge?
Shout to Roman Reigns.
No, but
You're not a. I thought you were a wrestling fan.
I'm not. I'm somewhat, but I'm not like the biggest Roman Reigns fan.
He got into it for like 2 months, and then he was back to.
Ever since
NASCAR?
ever since he bought 6 rings on sneaker shopping, kind of.
That's it. Canceled them out.
Yeah, but we acknowledge.
I was gonna appease the audience, and I was gonna get into my GR bag early, but I feel like going up against my principles, God always pulls me towards the light. I got an amazing GR fit today.
Was it that fit?
No.
Oh.
Completely different fit. 7 minutes away from my house, get on the West Side Highway, coffee disaster, all on the left side of the fit. And this is the second time I've ever spilled anything disastrous on myself. Coffee, whole left side, maybe 2nd-degree burns on the thigh right now.
Wow, serious.
Okay, whole fit gone. Had to go back, switch to what I was planning for next week. See what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just stick.
I think you did good. I see that
Listen,
you put the orange laces
I
in.
wanted to shout out to my people from Undefeated. Shout out my man Mark. Shout out to Abdul who put me and Mark together. And I wore these because it's a full circle moment. You guys saw that I wanted the Undefeateds badly. Finally got them. Figured I'd put them on.
Okay.
Next
Abdul.
week though, I'm gonna give you guys a GR just to appease. And
why don't we do a challenge?
Let's do it.
GRs for the next 4 episodes. Would you agree
right.
to that?
I'm down with
the
that.
GR King. He's the GR King.
Done.
Where's the GR? Do you?
So
I got GRs on.
Okay.
All right, so can we do this? Can we do a Welty versus Vandal GR off for the next 4 episodes?
Would you do that?
Possibly.
Look at him.
Possibly.
Look at him.
Why don't we just do it now? Come on.
Come on.
Yeah,
4
Okay,
episodes.
GR. Listen.
From now to Complex Con.
Okay, Complex Con. No.
No.
Let
Complex Con.
me
I'm
look
saying
in the
from now to then.
Let me look into the camera. What I may be wearing on stage at Complex Con?
Sheesh.
Don't worry about it.
It's like that. GRs, me and you, 3 weeks back to back. Who gets
duel?
the best?
You've had your duels in the past 3 weeks. How about like a nice friendly duel?
At least the
Sneaker.
next episode. Let's see, because there's
Okay.
a few things I have that I want to wear, but
Okay.
We'll go take it episode by episode.
No, he never said GR King. You did. You have to wear GRs for the next 4.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay.
GRs next
it's like
4.
making up your own. You can never make up your own nickname.
I got it. No, they gave me that
Who
nickname.
gave you the nickname GR King?
Listen, again, people not doing their research is fine. Scroll back just a couple years on my Instagram. All of the GRs, the Skylons, just run-of-the-mill stuff. But I'm fine with proving myself a little bit on here for you guys.
Okay, it's a good challenge.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I just make one little point?
Interruption,
Yeah.
yes.
One interruption?
Yes.
3 weeks, everybody's outfits are getting better. Everybody's shoes are getting better. We got Ben behind the camera. Orange Lobsters.
Ooh.
We got Dave, our producer, 95s.
Atlanta 95.
Atlanta 95s. Everybody's, and then you come today, look at Welty. Steamed his outfit, ironed his jeans, good color palette,
He ironed the Buddy Lees?
got a fresh baldy, lined up the beard. Like I'm just saying,
'Cause you know
4
why?
weeks in, everything is just looking a little bit more polished.
You know what?
That's all I'm saying.
He's going to OT today.
What we got going?
Going to New Balance.
Yeah. Go
Oh, okay. So this is like a field trip fit.
What jacket is that? Let me see that.
Shout out New Balance, good
Apparel.
people over there. KITH New Balance sending stuff like this over. So I thought I normally don't do like a footwear brand apparel, you know, but thought it was
I like
good.
how you layered the cream on cream.
Mm-hmm. Also, like how he went in the color family. He didn't try to, he's matching tones. I like this. This is what I wanted to bring out of you guys.
We don't need him showing up to New Balance headquarters in a Shania Twain T-shirt or a Morgan Wallen. Not that we don't love them.
Jeff Gordon, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So
I might have some of those in the
Okay.
in the luggage to make me feel at home.
How was the weekend though? I was in Chicago for the KITH opening. You guys do any sneaker?
No, we need to talk about Ronnie Feig, shout out,
Yes.
handing out the bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, I got my hands
tradition.
the
dirty.
line,
tradition.
but also JLP, they put you to work.
Did put me to work.
You had to fit with the hoodie like cinched like this. He was like trying to hide his identity or something.
I wasn't. I was
But
hoodie JLP.
But you had
hoodie mellow.
you had the shorts on, so the calves are like the calling card. So it's no
know.
way that you're
I mean, listen.
going unnoticed.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, incognito." I think there's some pretty dead giveaways. Okay, if the shorts are on, respectfully and humbly.
How does that work as far as like, getting your hands dirty? Is it an added bonus? Do you get a better seat on the jet? How does that work? Like, what is the trade-off for the early morning handout?
Just helping out my friend and the line, feeding the line. Greenberg's Bagels.
I like that tradition, taking a little bit of New York wherever you go, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Do they do that at all the openings?
I think
Because I have seen them feed people outside, in the mornings.
he's been doing it the last two.
He did it for the reopening of
Yep.
the New York store. That was like the viral moment.
Yep.
But you had the Gel Mize on, Gel Mize 0.1s.
I should have brought him out. I have
Yeah.
him I have him
Yeah.
here. So Ronnie did a whole pack of shoes, World's Fair,
Yep.
but the Japan ones were the Gel Mai.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a JLP shoe?
Yeah, it's like you love that like late 90s, early
Yes.
2000s like sneaker language.
Did you know about the silhouette?
Yeah, Ronnie had done the shoe previously. He did a couple like in 2016. He did like a salmon colored one, and then he did another one that had a Cayano sole on it even back then.
Yeah.
But he put the Cumulus sole on this one.
It just reminds me of the old East Bay magazines, total archive running shoe, kind of like I don't want to go back to Nike, but like it reminds me of that Zoom Citizen feel, even though it's not like asymmetrical. But the funny thing, a couple funny anecdotes about that. Apparently, it's the only pair of Asics Hiroshi Fujiwara ever owned. I didn't
Yeah.
know that, one of his favorite models.
Yeah.
And the other thing that came up, so Asics, Colin Brickley was there, and they did a panel basically. Asics.
Talk about an OG.
Oh, super OG. Gel Light, when Ronnie was pumping out the Gel Light 3s and Colin was right there. And now they did a panel. So what do you think in the running space Asics is ranked right now?
What do you
Say
mean
two.
what do you mean like running space?
Like actual performance
popularity.
performance running shoes. I'd say
Or no,
number
you mean
two.
just like sneaker space for running?
No. Like legitimately like the biggest running market
performance shoes.
share. You said
I said two. I'd say Hoka's one.
Hoka probably over.
it's not. It is 2.
Who's number
Meaning Asics is two.
Yes. Who's one?
on?
No.
It's not Hoka.
Nike,
No.
Asics,
New Balance.
Saucony, New Balance.
No.
That's surprising that it's not Hoka or
Hoka on
Should I let
Saucony, Brooks.
Ben?
It's Brooks.
Brooks.
Oh,
Brooks
had,
is one.
Brooks
Yeah.
had always been number
Shout
one
to
for the
Peter
longest
Very.
time.
Brooks is 1.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get that right away, but Brooks is 1, Asics is 2.
Wait, that's kind of crazy because
Brooks
to
had
be
been
honest,
number one for like a long time back in the day, and then they
Feel
kind
like-
of fell off, and then they came back.
I feel like a ton of people run in Brooks, but yeah.
Well, I
that's what
feel like
kind of-
right now, if anything, Brooks, their lifestyle sector is a little bit more prominent than anything. I haven't seen it. To be transparent, I haven't checked the performance category. I haven't bought a shoe to specifically run in since Puma, but
You're not running the streets.
yeah, I run those in GRs, not in running shoes. But seeing, Peter Very,
he went over there.
Footwear News alum. He's now over there. I've seen a lot more from their lifestyle, or what they call sports style division. You know, they got those RSVP collabs. They have a few other collabs out that I feel are getting more traction than the running. So it's surprising to hear that they're beating Asics and Hoka out.
I would have said Hoka probably.
Yeah, I would have thought Hoka. There was like years where like Brooks was the biggest core running performance brand. So
But yeah,
I think it's so ill to see. You know, this is, I guess, maybe a little bit more on the industry insider side is, you know, we complain about brands not getting it right a lot. And I feel like Peter Very is somebody who has really, like, had tenure and he has skin in the game. For him to go over there and now be working on product, I feel like they got it right.
he just got there though, right?
yeah, just like recently.
Yeah. We'll see what he's going to do. That's, you know, obviously we've known Peter for a long time. Yeah.
Joe, we were having a conversation yesterday, and it like surprised me because I don't know why I didn't know this, but you told me yesterday you don't really like patent leather on sneakers.
So I like the Jordan 16s. I love the patent leather at the toe box. The 11s, do we count? I don't count those. I don't count the 11s especially.
What about the America's Cup? You don't do the patent leather ones?
No. Do you do patent leather?
Yes.
I don't do patent leather.
Remember, we
America's
spoke
Cups.
about me not wearing 11s. I have them, but I don't wear them.
Yeah.
But I'm super cool with patent leather on. You don't wear it on anything?
Not the case. I don't favor it though.
Okay.
I don't favor it. Yeah, that's something that
It just surprised me a little bit because I thought there would have been some shoes.
No patent leather Air Force Ones. No undefeated Air Force.
I
pack.
like those. I like
Those are all patent
but,
leather.
But it's a very nuanced thing. It's weird that I kind of like it better when it's all patent, but when there's a strip, I don't like it. And again, preface this with not the strip of the 11s. The one that stands out that I always am like when everyone's like, oh, how many pairs are you going to get when they re-release is the Black Cat 3s.
Yeah, because
The patent leather.
and you hate it.
The patent leather ruins it for me.
I hate
But
that.
the shoe that you definitely ran back in the day, those Jordan 4 Lab 11s.
Oh, wow.
The black pair.
All patent.
All patent though.
Yeah.
That goes with what
Yeah.
I just
You're saying
said.
all
Yeah.
patent.
So and then I think it gets into the little details of preference because as we all know, hypocritical of like, oh, I'm not really big into patent leather. Only if the whole shoe's patent leather, but a little strip kind of like
But Bape shoe
Icks
were
me
okay
out.
with too back in the day, right?
all patent though.
patent.
Yeah.
But I do, to your point, and yes, we talked about it offline, the little strip never really does it for me.
Well, the shoe that we were talking about, it was like up there's doing an Asics. I really love the shoe. I think it's amazing, but it's all patent, but it still has the mesh on it because it's like an Asics Kayano.
Yeah, not my favorite, and the up there New Balances I love.
Yeah, you love those. Yeah,
I love those collaborations. That one not my favorite, and then the undefeated Air Max 95. I preface it with I like those shoes.
The black ones.
Yes, but
Are you doing numbers in those, Joe?
probably
Did you do the 97?
no. I didn't do the 97. I know that was a big shoe. That was a big Complex Con shoe, wasn't it?
There was a
love that
riot
shoe.
that broke out over the shoes and they couldn't release them.
I never did the 97, but I'm definitely doing the 95s. But if I had my choice, and I'm undefeated knows more than me when it comes to design, I would have taken the little patent leather strip off.
Undefeated 95s versus Harajuku 95s. What are we doing?
We'll see. Just stay tuned.
Levi's 95s versus Yu-Gi-Oh 95s. What are we doing?
Oh, okay. That one
Levi's.
I'll answer. Levi's.
The GR pair?
The light blue ones are the best one out of those. I have the Friends and Family, and I have the black pair.
That's something that we had never even talked
The
about.
light blue.
No, but in the time being
Yeah,
off
we
the
were off.
podcast, you getting the Friends and Family Levi's 95s.
Well, I didn't get them.
I know, no, but I'm saying going out and getting the shoe.
Yeah, it was a shoe that I wanted badly, and it was like I was just bidding. PG knows I was asking PG, and to be totally transparent, I was asking around a lot, and then it wasn't happening.
The second you saw that shoe, you were just like, that's your shoe,
So
right?
you cashed out?
Yeah, I did. I
Heavy?
did. Yeah, I would say nothing to brag about.
What do you mean? As in,
I'm not giving a number value, but
Oh,
nothing to
here
brag
we
about.
go.
I'm not, but it was
Here
just
we
one.
go.
It was just one that I wanted.
why can't we know when you get taxed? We know when you get gifted.
I don't know if you would you call it taxing though, or just you
If I'm
spent
paying
a lot.
over 30%,
Here's a good question.
that's taxing.
And you don't even have to say a number, just a yes or no. More than your rent.
I'm not answering that. Hold on.
But we don't know how much the
Not
shoes are.
answering
We're
that.
just
There's a point I don't want. There's a point I do want to make, even though I bought them for a lot of money, and I disagree with you here. The light blue denim are better than.
Oh, I love that. No, the friends and family.
I don't think
Better
so.
than the friends and family?
I think the light blue are better. You know who fits off in the light
Who?
blue? Our boy Angelo.
Oh yeah, shout out Angelo.
But I think the light blue. I think the box and the insoles and and not the bubble. What is it on the? Isn't the bottom the Levi's? What do they call that?
The plastic piece on the bottom. They have the vintage Levi's advertisements from like the 50s on the bottom, and then the other ones just have the red with the Levi's logo. So
Yeah,
I'm like, those are so much better.
I'm happy I have them. It was a chase.
It would have been ill if they used like more of that in the branding, right? Like
No, for sure.
the big E, like big E in the red tab
Yeah.
versus
Well, it
just
was like
regular.
it was like the Cowboys like 1950s advertisement on that. But the crazy part was though is that anytime I get a shoe that is like a Grail level shoe that's like these are more than just like a shoe that's they go for like $200, $300.
Right.
If it's like a shoe is worth like $800, $900, like $1,000, I can never get myself to wear them because I just feel like, man, like I don't want to put these on my feet. Like
No
I know
way.
shoes are made for wearing, but like it's just I feel bad wearing something like that.
So you're saying like the majority of your collection that is Grail is like
yeah,
untouched?
I just don't touch it because I'm like I don't have any
Dang, that's
excuse to
crazy.
wear these. Like I feel bad like going out and messing them up.
Wow, that's
But
crazy.
I flip flop with that.
But he just showed up to the office like 2 days after, just wearing the shoes, and I'm like,
I
man,
wear everything.
you're wearing them right now?
Yeah, I think that one I have to wear. I also think,
You wore for sneaker shopping too.
yeah, with Fat Joe and Jada.
Yep. Shout out.
But I also think that one is going to wear well. Like,
Yeah, you have to break it in.
I'm not mad at a little bit of the denim being messed up.
And also the last thing on that, shout out Brendan Dunn, of course. He made the
know that guy.
He made the comment about when you, Jada, and Fat Joe
Yes,
were together.
yes.
The levels of denim
Yeah,
that were in
because Jada had denim shorts on.
Yeah.
I had the denim shoes, and Fat Joe had the denim pants on with the.
He had the
it was like
joggers that were
yeah.
half denim and yeah.
Yeah, I was just Canadian tuxedoed out.
Basically, a lot of denim going on. 3 different parts of denim. Yeah, we'll put that tweet up.
Yeah.
A lot to get to this week.
Yeah.
A lot of sneaker news, but I think the biggest story that we have to start with is
For sure.
is what happened with Coolkicks last week, the end of last week.
Yeah.
It was Friday, and out of nowhere, basically, went online that Coolkicks got raided,
Yes.
and I think
During a Whatnot stream.
during a Whatnot stream, I think they were very successful on Whatnot. They were doing that a lot, and at first, I think the owner
Adil Shams, yeah.
thought that he was getting swatted, but it turned out to be a raid, and there's a lot of details going on. And even like 10 hours before we recorded this, more details came out. But just starting back with the original kind of news
A
item.
lot of speculation.
Yeah.
When it first happened, it was like the Bunko department of the LAPD, which deals with counterfeit goods, but also fraud.
Right.
And stuff in that just realm. So a lot of people online were guessing if that's the person, or not the person, that's the department who made the arrest, felony level arrest, that they were selling fake stuff.
Right.
So it just went wild that, Coolkicks is selling fakes.
Right, which turned out not necessarily
Not to be the case. And
to
they
be the
had
case.
been forward about that. They had put out a statement saying,
Yeah, I'll read the statement.
Yep.
That basically, the takeaways are: yesterday, the LAPD impounded a small allotment of Nike sneakers that Coolkicks purchased and received within the last 48 hours, alleging that the merchandise was stolen. This news came as a complete shock to our entire team. Neither Coolkicks leadership nor our staff had any knowledge or reason to believe that these products were stolen. Coolkicks takes pride in serving our loyal community with authentic, high-quality products and service. It's at the heart of our culture. And a couple things, like right off the bat, it wasn't the store that got raided. It was a warehouse,
Yeah.
which they were doing the Whatnot stream from.
also wasn't a small allotment of.
So let's talk about this. 2 parts right
Yeah.
now. Right now, it seems like there's 2 parts to the story.
Yeah, for sure.
The original raid that happened on Friday, that like blew up, and they were like on camera getting arrested. And immediately to what you said is people were like, oh, they're selling fakes. That was kind of the feedback.
And there was pallets of shoes in the photo.
Mm-hmm.
So small allotment seems like, I don't know if that's like maybe
Sweeping
like
it under the rug.
or you're trying to flex a little bit, like, oh, we have so many shoes that this is just a small allotment.
Well, I don't think that's what they meant. I think they just meant like it was a small allotment of product in question, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, I just feel like that's the general approach when you're writing a statement of these kinds, is like try to like downplay it, sweep it under the rug, you know what I mean, or make it seem like it's not as big of a deal in general. But I think that this just, it actually speaks to a little bit about what we were saying in previous episodes about the community and the sneaker game just evolving into such new spaces and new categories that a lot of these retailers are playing very different games, you know what I mean? It's not like sneaker stores are just sneaker stores anymore. Now they're content creators, they're live streaming, they're auction sites. They play all these games. They are making secondary revenue streams out of these other things and not just being a sneaker store anymore.
It's the TikTokification of like the resale shop.
I mean, yes and no, though, because like if you have a fan base, then you're creating content out of a space that I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But I feel like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it does change the parameters of what we considered, viable, trusted retail.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. My only point is that I just felt like, especially with someone like Coolkicks, and this isn't even a shot or anything, it's just very much in that like TikTok influencer, like hype house sort of like vibe of.
Well, that's why
content.
I feel it gets blurred. That's what I'm saying. Like when you compare, let's say, a Coolkicks to a Amamener or some of these stores that, just to clarify what the differences are for the audience, is that retailers like an Amamener, Politics, Concepts, these stores are all direct partners of established footwear brands like Nike, Adidas. They have these accounts.
They're a resale shop.
Right. So these resale shops have now become kind of like the focus of retail, where they're all doing TikTok shops, they're all doing lives, and they're all doing content. But what that does is, and what maybe the audience doesn't realize, is that it takes away a little bit of the focus and the detail and the attention to retail and retail management and experiential management for the consumer that these other stores have now blurred the lines of. What happens is taking down that barrier allows for some of these things to happen, where they may take in stolen shoes, fake shoes, it happens. It's if you're focused on a lot of different things aside from just shoe management, shoe retail, apparel retail, it takes the quality control and or, detail checking, granular checking away.
Are you saying like that priorities may slip through the cracks with all the other stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a stream with Phantom at Flight Club, so like I am on kind of like content has changed. So
for sure,
obviously,
the game's going to change.
I'm not a store owner, but you're basically saying like when you're focused on other stuff that maybe
just saying resale stores have popped out. There is no checks and balances for these stores now. How many sneaker store scandals have popped up in the last 2 years compared to what we heard from sneaker stores in the past?
I think that has a lot more to do with just like the economy in general, where it's like if you think sneaker retail as a whole is like down bad at the moment, if you talk to people behind the scenes, they're just like struggling with selling stuff, and that's not a secret. We talked about all the shoes sitting on the shelves, right? So imagine how much harder it is if the stores that sell the shoes for retail are having right now, how much harder it is to be the store that's selling things for over retail right now.
Yeah.
But going back to just the situation itself, the report came out from the LAPD, $500,000 worth of shoes. Yeah,
so this is the big thing. In the statement, it said a small allotment of shoes.
Yeah.
Last night when we were talking, it was reported by, I think, LAPD tweeted, and then I think NBC Los Angeles, CBS News, basically that during the operation, detectives recovered an estimated $500,000 worth of stolen train cargo. We'll get back to that.
Yep.
including unreleased Nike shoes and clothing, the release said. Officers recovered over 2,100 pairs of stolen Nikes and 150 cartons of various Nike clothing inside of the business, according to LAPD's release. Then they put pictures of the cartons, which are the Jordans that you like.
Yep, Cavestone 4s.
Cavestone 4s and a
Heck yeah.
black and red Air Max 95. Now, this is part 2 of kind of the news item that we've been following.
And before then, Rami the Icon, who works at Coolkicks, maybe you've seen him he did a lot of those like checkout videos or people coming in for trades, etc., behind the counter content. He said that the store had never sold fake stuff, that they had never been associated with that.
Which is a big thing because all the comments were like they're selling fakes.
Yeah.
And they weren't, from this, it seems like they weren't selling fakes.
And then there was even people speculating. They're like, well, if it's not fake sneakers, then maybe they're selling fake apparel, fake Labubus, which none of that, just for the record, none of that's been proven, or that's not part of this. But that's where other people's minds went. But yeah, so it's $500,000. You said the train stuff. And I know we talked about it.
The original story.
The original story with the Nigels getting stolen off the train somewhere in like Arizona.
Right. That happens a lot.
Yeah. So
there's been multiple stories of those trains getting hit for Nike product in the past 2 years. And there's also been a bunch of those stories that get swept under the rug by brands because they were a part of other shipments and got hit. You know, I know this happened to Adidas too. They got hit, try to sweep it under the rug because it was a part of a container. It wasn't even a train. It was a boat container that got swapped and all of these things. So, you know, again, going back to what I was saying, I think that this is the reason why I'm so overprotective of everything. You know, when we say we gatekeep and things of this nature, when there's no checks and balances and stores have to do some of these things to operate, like you were saying, you know, versus traditional stores where these other stores have like.
But I don't want to say that because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes on at traditional stores too that people would say that they're the
seen people
gatekeepers.
Backdooring in this
for sure,
and all of that with.
And
the
this isn't even
stores.
to protect Coolkicks or anything, but I think the sneaker retail game as a whole, that like even the people you view as the puritanical gatekeepers of what's true are probably doing all the things that the audience would be like, these are the people who are ruining the game.
Right, but look, here's what I'm saying about the resale stores, right? The fact that there's no checks and balances and there is no kind of like borders on what they could do, it dilutes what all of the rest of the stores do. Why? Because here's an example. Let's say they buy $1 million worth of inventory, right? You and I very well know that inventory is still getting sold to us at the markup, at the high. So it's not like, and it's stolen inventory, so that means they're getting it at way lower than they get it from the brand, right? So they're making more margins off of us. They're still diluting, they're volumizing the game, and we are participants, and nobody does like, oh, well, I'm not buying them from here or I'm not buying them from there because they're not official retailers, this, that, and the third. That has like completely become boundless.
But it's like you look at these things and you talk about, you know, the retailers, et cetera, being the ones that are, you know, holding the fort for what's happening. And, you know, a couple of years ago, there was the whole Almanier scandal where it was like things were getting backdoored and money payments were getting in small amount. Trophy Room had said that, you know, talking about the getting stolen off the train, that was like one of Marcus's original theories that he had floated out there, which probably wasn't true. But
how do you feel about that though? Like, how do you feel that the secondary stores get to operate in these gray spaces and still tax you and still play
I don't know. I just
like,
feel weird sometimes because it's like I don't think it's right, but also I'm not naive enough to think that the game isn't the game. Where it's like it's always like the stories that you hear where it's like, of course, a lot of these retailers are backdooring or offloading their product to a Flight Club or a StockX or something like that. Like these brands make them buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Jordan product just so they can get the retros.
Yeah.
And you have to get all the other Nike stuff
Yep.
just so you can get the high heat releases. And now you're stuck with
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of stuff that doesn't sell. So how do you get rid of it? You know, and it's not saying it's okay that the retailers do that, but that's what happens. They need to keep their, you know, their checkbook balanced.
Right, which is again why I say that the
P's and Q's of the quality control.
exactly. So us get like that gatekeeping thing goes back into this is saying, hey, you know what? I won't support these secondary stores that don't play by any rules. Even the primary stores play shady games, but at least I know if I'm walking in there or if I'm dealing with them, I'm paying box price or maybe a smidge over for the shoe. I'm not getting taxed. And then, you know, I'm bringing in shoes. One of the things that kills me about those guys is like, they literally make all this rage bait content about like, you know, register stuff, behind the register content, like you said, where they're like, you bring in a $2,000 shoe and they're like, I'll give you $30 for it. They're like the GameStop of shoes, where you're bringing in stuff that you know is valuable. You see people in there who know the worth of their things, and this guy's just like, I got $40 for you, take it or leave it. And then there's all this content, and then you go in there and you're selling them your shoes and then getting minimal credit to buy something of theirs that's quadruple the price of anywhere else. To me, it's just like the more you accept all that shit, and I know that the kids do, and that's what their outlets are, but like the more you accept it, the more it goes on, which is why I don't rock with it a lot.
I mean, checkout content is
For sure, but
People
that-
love like.
But then they'll do the one video like every 6 months where they give a guy a free hoodie, and then everyone
Yeah.
thinks it's like feel good. Which I'm not trying. In all seriousness, not trying to like downplay anyone's good acts out there. So totally fine to do that. But you know, if there's,
I'll downplay the acts.
I don't know, that's not me. But you know, whatever. A good act is a good act. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like if I don't know, there's just so much going on that
There's a lot going on.
yeah,
Yeah, but
Can we
that's
go
why
back to
we
two
have
things,
to
though?
start
Yeah, no, go.
whipping ass. That's
we-
the reason why we need to start putting belt to ass, because if we're the stewards of this culture and we just let whatever go on.
Yeah, but it's just like we can't like go shut down their like.
Yes, you can.
You gonna rate it? Hold on.
No, not
Hold
shut
on.
it down.
Hold
But the
on.
more that you listen, if you're a voice, that's what I'm trying to say, Matt. Use your voice. If they've given you a voice in this thing,
Yeah.
and you are a voice in this thing, if you go and say, "Yo, this is not lit," there's gonna be a subset of people that follow you and say, "Oh, I'm not fucking with that no more." Right? Now, if you do that, and he does that, and I do that, and Ben done that, and we amalgamate our no's, that's a strong blow to somebody, and maybe you make a wave. That's how things happen. But if we just keep being like, "Oh, what are we
just
gonna do?"
I don't want to speak for him, but
Yeah.
I don't think he feels that strongly about it. This is obviously a different. This is the case and whatever is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of content, like I'm not going to judge fully just because.
I mean,
check out
retailers, I
reaction-
don't care about the content.
Yeah.
Everybody makes content.
I want to get back to two things through your research of this investigation. One thing, it seems like the shoes were bought very recent.
Yeah.
So some people are saying that they may have been tracked.
Well, you know, there was things that had happened too, where it's like, I don't want to compare things one to one, and it's like a lot of the details on this are murky, where it's like what exactly happens. We saw something similar-ish happen to Project Blitz almost 2 years ago at this point. It was January 2024, so last year, but top of the year, where, you know, Dre, Croatian Style, been a guest on this podcast, you know, friend of mine,
Legend.
yeah, sneaker legend. Something had happened where it's like a guy had come to drop off some shoes or try to sell some shoes, and apparently he was being like supposedly tracked by like the LAPD, and then they made a buy, and then it was like a sting operation or something, I believe, to that effect. And same thing, they got busted by, you know, oh, these are stolen items, and then, you know, having conversations with him and there are other people in the business, it's like LAPD will take everything, you know. It's like that's the sad part of the matter, where it's like you can have one bad thing happen as a retailer and everything can be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So not like trying to feel bad for people or saying, hey, you know, give people a free pass on everything, but you know, you own a business and bad things can happen, you know, and then your whole business is gone. And I, like, in all honesty, don't really wish that like upon anyone. So I don't know.
The other thing I was pointing back to, I want to go back. I think
Yeah.
we glossed over it. It's this stolen train cargo is the thing that brands and the FBI are clocking, it seems.
For sure.
And from last year, February 16th, 2025, the report, 11 people were indicted for stealing over $440,000 worth of Nike shoes from a BNSF train traveling through northern Arizona. So it seems like
it's serious.
This is the thing where they're watching and like where these stolen goods are coming from.
And, we heard those stories, like even back in the day when we were doing Full Size Run, I remember having KITH on, who's from Memphis, and we played it over as a joke, but he was talking about back in the day, it would always be the thing where you'd buy the shoes that were quote unquote off the train, because Memphis being the Nike distribution hub, where people back then would still have ways where they would interrupt the shipments and then just sell the sneakers to everyone. So
listen, it's going to be an ongoing investigation. We'll see. We'll just be tracking it.
Yep. You know what else is ongoing?
What?
Pharrell's campaign with these jellyfish sneakers.
We were doing the top 10 list of the year because we're getting ready for Complex Con, obviously.
It's about to get crazy.
Do we have to say 2 nights of headliners, over 300 brands, sneaker of the year panel? Who knows what we're going to be wearing? I have an idea what I'm going to be wearing on feet, but we're going to be in Vegas. Do you gamble in Vegas? Or am I going to see you at where? Baccarat or maybe the war
not
table?
Not a gambler. I don't bet. I'm a sure shot type of guy.
Okay.
The 2 times that I have spent some money in Vegas,
Carbone?
I'm up. I'm up on the tables actually.
Maybe a little Carbone
Roulette.
dinner? Oh, okay.
Noble. Prefer Noble.
Okay. These Pharrell Jellyfish, like I said, we're going to see where they end up on the top 10 list. Orange ones, like we did the collab list. People asking me, did you get these? But this weekend, a day after this goes live, 2 new colorways that we have right here.
Oh, sheesh. Man, please tell me one
I
of these
saw-
is my size.
They're not his size.
I first saw
He thought he was going to show up the
I ain't
GR
gonna lie.
King
Hold on.
in non-GRs and get everything seated.
I first saw
I
this
thought I was gonna
shoe
get blessed.
when the orange pair came out.
Okay.
Mike DiStefano, shout out, style editor at Complex, was wearing them. And also I was at the gym and a guy had the orange pair just sitting in the back. And I just remember like looking at it like this and just being like, there's like, the shoe has like volume in like multiple directions.
You were doing a deadlift and still admiring the shoes?
It's just like, this isn't like, the first time I
Okay,
saw it, I'm
careful,
like,
careful.
no, nothing's going to happen to it, but it's like, it's just insane. Like
What? How big?
how everything's just so exaggerated in
We spoke
volumes.
about, it was crazy that we spoke about that in the first, when we spoke about the list, saying like, how genius is it to not have to, I mean, they essentially changed
That rubber.
one silhouette that existed and it was flat and it did, this
Yes,
shoe,
the Adidas.
yeah, this shoe essentially exists already, except minus what Matt said, without all the protrusions and exaggerations, and it was just that took the shoe next level.
But this is very triple S.
Yeah, I mean,
It is. At least the toe, which is fine.
yeah.
But like, there were so many times we created a new series during the pandemic called Sneaker Stories, where I was like basically interviewing celebrities remote. And one of the categories was like biggest sneaker regret. You know what? Like 6 out of 10 people said buying all the Balenciaga Triple S. Also,
wow.
Balenciaga Triple S. Shout out to John Caramonica. Sometimes I call those the John Caramonica ones. Okay. Still, John Caramonica stood on business wearing the Triple S's. I think very recently.
wow.
Maybe he's validated.
I've never seen him.
Look at this.
That's
We also got-
no. It gives you. It definitely gives you.
We got the gray pair too. The thing
design
that
Hold
I
on, we're not
chunky.
done with the green. Relax.
hold on, but the thing I said about this shoe, when we were talking about it off camera, to me, this sneaker definitely is a moment. You cannot deny that, right? And I think that this is Pharrell's best sneaker since the initial run of NMDs, right? Where there were maybe like 1 or 2 shoes in there that I thought were okay, but if we're just being honest, nobody's talked about a Pharrell sneaker this much since those original shoes, right? It's just like it is what it is.
Oh, these?
Yeah, that's what I mean. No.
100%.
But this shoe, I don't even have an issue with it, but it's just like the hesitancy of it, because you always look back at the best sneaker of the year list, right? And some things age well, some things age don't. Out of all the
Okay.
sneakers on the best sneaker of the year list, I think this one runs the risk the most of looking back in 5 or 6 years and then seeing it like wherever it lands, because I don't want to like give any sort of we don't even know yet.
We don't.
And people being like,
That
What
wasn't
are you?
it.
What are you scared?
or like, man,
What are you shook?
Yeah,
You shook?
he's saying that because it's so,
I hate being a prisoner of the moment sometimes,
it's
and
so designer forward.
then 5 years nobody was like, dude, you couldn't pay me to wear these.
I mean, I feel like that happens with a lot of shoes
Does.
in general.
It does,
you
but we
know,
always
I don't-
see that on Sneaker of the Year where you're like, oh, that was the shoe of the moment, and then in 3 years people are like,
Give me an example. Don't say the Sakai waffle at
oh,
all.
that is one of those too.
Yeah, right. The original Sakai.
No, it
waffle,
hit. That shoe
number
hit.
one, still in my heart. Stop
Oh
it.
yeah,
Yeah, but then
what
how-
year was that though?
But what was the fall off on that shoe? 2019.
Okay,
yeah,
2019.
that-
It was the sneaker of the year to me.
Element React. We've
Well,
talked about the
wait,
shoe a
was
million
was that
times.
number one.
Yes, that was number one too.
Of that
Damn.
year?
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Element React.
I wore those.
Oh
for the-
yeah. Oh
the
wow.
see-through. Oh man.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn, that
that's
was-
probably the best example of what you're saying would
Damn.
fall off, but that's y'all fault.
Or
Oh, here
why
he
would,
goes.
Why would y'all put that as the sneaker of the year for
Here
that
he
year?
goes.
It was way harder shit than that. Yeah, I know what it is. That shit was smoking that year.
I love
It
those
smoked it for like
shoes.
3
I
years.
lo- I-
But that's
I
a
bought
big
the white
JLP
pair.
shoe.
I
you
bought
can't
the white
deny.
pair.
I see, like you can't deny the moment that the shoes are having. So, and these shoes are supposed to be a reflection of the moment. Like I've
Right.
always thought of Sneaker of the Year as like if we're going to create a time capsule, go bury it in the backyard, and someone in 100 years picks it out and be like, these were the 10 most important shoes
Of
this
that year.
That's what you're gonna find.
Okay.
right? So I don't think it's
So then you can't be mad at the
you
nuances.
you can't. But some things you're just like, man, those were the bell-bottom jeans of the era. You know what I
So
mean?
It's funny
I'll
because
be
isn't
honest,
Pharrell
though,
wearing
this
bell
one-
bottoms with these
Well,
or flared jeans? Is
man,
he?
I kind of want to. I don't know if I should tell this story.
Tell
It's
it.
gonna get me in trouble. All right. Well, what I was told, I won't say by who.
I know who.
What I was told, he said that we had to blur his name
yeah,
every time.
I know who.
The person who told me this story said that I have to blur his name anytime we use it on the pod,
Yeah.
unless we pay him. But
Yeah.
I was told that the shoe was actually designed to fit.
Bell-bottom jeans,
I don't want to call them bell bottoms, but
flares.
Flare.
a flared cut of jean that Pharrell was wearing at the time,
And that's what he's wearing now
and
with
they,
them.
Yeah, and they fit. I feel like they fit perfectly for that. But I do think that this will have a little bit more longevity than like the designer or Triple S-esque shoes, mainly because
It's also an Adidas sneaker too.
what I was just saying more than anything because of like the base silhouette that comes from.
Well, that's
this.
what I mean. It's an Adidas, like it's
Right,
a
right.
shoe actually created by a sportswear
Right.
brand. Like I always have thought that the shoes, the high fashion shoes that are in like collaboration with sportswear brands are always head and shoulders above truly high fashion,
Like the designer version of that shoe.
or just a high fashion shoe itself. Like
Right.
Raf Simons Adidas is so much better than a Raf Simons
Right.
sneaker because Adidas knows how to make better sneakers than Raf Simons, right?
So the orange one was a hit. What do we think this weekend?
I feel they're all hits.
Okay.
This one, I feel like doesn't. It's great to have.
Would you ever wear them?
No.
Maybe.
Nope. Won't
Why?
wear
Why
'em.
do you say that?
Because you don't wear the type of cut jean to make them look to flatter them.
What do you mean?
What
the
are you
Buddy
talking
Lees
about?
can't get over.
These are literally these.
Are they his size?
I don't know.
Are they
I
his
feel like
size?
you wear too much of a straight leg or taper jean to
These
make
aren't.
that.
These are literally. These jeans are literally made to wear over boots.
Time out.
Those?
Yes.
Time
So
out.
that
These
one
are literally
jean might
Wrangler
look good.
cowboy cut jeans that are made
Throw
to wear
them
over
on
boots.
now. Let's
Yes,
see.
throw 'em on.
Let's
Throw 'em
throw 'em
on.
on. Let's-
What size are these?
10.
You got a good rest of the
Let's
fit
do
going.
it. A little live.
You might could do
straight,
the green even.
Straight to feet.
Straight
Do
to
we
feet.
have a pair?
See how it looks. See if you got a fit off.
Go ahead. And you got to stand up.
Yeah, you gotta
New
stand and
Balance
stack-
top with
see how you
the
stack your-
jellyfish diabolical. Let's see though.
I want to see how he stack. Look at that's the craziest. He try to like stack the
Oh,
1 inch of stand up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can we lace them? Can we get a and
look
stop
bad
trying?
at all.
I'm
Let's be
saying it
honest,
doesn't
you-
fit the aesthetic of your jeans because they're too bulky.
Wait, no tongue fuck?
He doesn't. I don't know if he knows.
He knows.
Okay.
What you say?
He knows. See, he
You
got
never
triggered.
seen full
He got
size
triggered.
run?
He got
Okay.
triggered about the tongue. Okay, I think.
All
They
right,
look
let me
pretty
see.
good. I think. Come on,
I don't know.
give him some credit. They
It looks
look
like a
good.
dad shoe on them.
Okay.
They do
We'll
run. They
see.
do run big.
think there's a special release in Virginia. I think Complex will be there. Of course, we're everywhere. We're always outside.
Shout to Pharrell's agency as well.
Okay.
Virginia.
Joe, are we going to see you in those?
No, maybe a black and white pair.
I feel like you're talking about Pharrell wearing these with the flare pants,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You know, he's got like the Tom Selleck 1978 jeans on.
Okay.
But he's also been wearing them with short shorts too, right?
Yeah.
I'm with that.
And you know who's the short in running sneaker king?
Uh-oh.
You're looking at him.
You can't, you can't call anybody the king of something now because that means he has to wear short shorts and running shoes.
No, but here's
I
the
do
thing.
it
On
all the
every
time.
episode.
I do it
No,
all the
that's not
time.
what it means.
Unlike you, who hasn't shown up in the GR.
No, but here's the difference though. I'm giving him that name. He's not introducing himself as the short and running shoe.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
If he introduced himself as that, then there would be precedent.
Got you.
You introduced yourself as the GR king
Got you.
Look, that's payback
and
because
showed
you
up
said,
in $20,000 sneakers.
That's payback because you said the Wranglers don't fit over the Jellyfish. Okay, so we established it. I don't know if there's going to be a battle, but at least we know the next few episodes, GRs
GR.
only. But we talked about it a little bit. What are you wearing on feet?
I mean, today I had to bring the whole story full circle. Finally got my undefeated fours. Shout to undefeated. Shout my man Mark. As you know, the whole outfit today.
Complex
shop. The whole
Full
outfit. Reconstruct pants. Jungles hoodie. Every other Thursday hat. All accessories my own.
Okay. Feels good to put an undefeated 4 on in
Amazing.
2025.
Amazing.
Right?
I can't wait to walk around so right now.
Okay. Maybe a little Finelli. They have good glizzies there if you ever try it.
No expert in glizzyism.
Okay. Foot Patrol Solomon.
Sheesh.
Big JLP shoe.
Big
I think so.
JLP shoe.
I think so.
It's kind of a white sneaker though.
It's a little panda-esque, but I like it a lot. Sent these over. Shouts to Foot Patrol. I remember the air stab. I have these, like I always say, I have these memories of when I was like just an intern or right before I was an intern. Complex was
Bradley
the first.
Carbone days.
Bradley Carbone. I think he gave the Foot Patrol Nike air stab
Great
half
shoe.
the page in Complex. So shouts to Foot Patrol. Continuing. Still here. Love it. Love these. Going to get a lot of wear out of these.
JLP and the P stands for panda.
No. Keep going.
These are just made in USA, New Balance 992s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Good color too.
Yeah, like these.
Yeah, you did good today.
Thanks. So next, another big JLP shoe. Someone who did good with the fit. Mr. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
Sheesh.
portraying Mark
Crushed it.
Kerr,
Crushed
the
it.
Smashing Machine,
Yep.
MMA legend.
A24 released the Nautica crew neck.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure that he's wearing in this promo still, but I noticed it right away. I sent it to the Slack. I was
The
like,
Tailwinds?
Yeah, The Rock. It's set in a late 90s.
Yep.
The fit is great. Snap away pants. I remember the snap away pants was such a. I remember a couple things with this. Let's break it down. I remember the snapaways, and I remember Anthony Mason, the illest. I think Anthony Mason used to wear the Knicks snap away pants. He would do one snap here,
I swear I was just about
and
to ask
then
you
one
that.
snap or two snaps, and then the whole leg was out. Just sauce.
People don't understand the impact of just that little detail.
Sauce. So, and then he would just do the layup line. I'd be like, look at how cool. But I think it was like before Mitchell and Ness was selling them, or like you just couldn't readily. Now I think over the past like decades or so, you could get them snap away pants. But I remember one day I was racking up Marshalls, like who knows, counterfeit, whatever.
Nah, Marshalls is good money.
Yeah.
I found a Detroit Pistons, just the pants snap away.
Sheesh.
But it was like they looked like they looked like
how
Apollo
wide-
Creed.
how-
Apollo Creed's fit in
Red, white,
Rocky.
and
It was
blue.
red, white, and blue.
How wide was the leg opening on those?
It didn't matter. I was like, oh, snap away pants. I'm like the era of NBA snap away warm up pants. I bought them, and I remember wearing them for like a CYO basketball game with the maroon, it didn't match at all, but I could not care the snap away pants. I was owning a pair. Detroit Pistons. I never got the Knicks or the Bulls, but great childhood memories.
Did you do this?
Of
Yes,
course.
yes,
Of
yes.
Snap
course.
away?
Are you kidding?
He was talking about that, like the imagery of how those pants used to sit. I remember specifically those. I had multiple pairs of those tearaway pants. I had and one ones, I had discus ones, I had 2 NBA ones, and I remember always leaving the bottom 3 snaps unsnapped. So like I'd snap all of them, bottom 2 or 3 were unsnapped, and it had like a flare flat front.
That was the move.
Maybe that's we were ahead of the curve.
Or maybe I gave you buckets if we played each other, to be honest.
But
okay?
But Joe, as you mentioned though, the piece de resistance on that is the
okay, so I'm looking
tailwinds.
the tailwinds. I remember we always talk first day of finish line. The polo was not a royal blue and it wasn't a navy blue. It was this weird
sport blue,
something weird. But I remember my first day of finish line, you had to have new sneakers. No, you didn't have to have new sneakers, but like you wanted new sneakers. And my first day of finish line, clocking in, we don't have to say, youngest #1 salesman in the company. Before that, we don't have to say at 16 #1 salesman in the district and the company. But we don't have to say that. But Zoom Citizen was my first day of work shoe. But all the people who definitely had a little more money or saved up the first day, what they were wearing, Tailwind 4s.
Yeah, I remember.
And all those colors back then, Sean, do me some grace. Look in OG 1999 or so, Tailwind 4s. There was a Michigan colorway. There was a black. All those, they would come in the store and they would sell right out. And if you had those, you're like, these are the illest shoes of the year. And the Rock snap-away pants, Nautica crew neck, Nautica competition crew neck, and Tailwind 4s.
And the hair.
And the hair. But, Rock, when this happens, studios, publicists, when this happens, let's talk about it on Sneaker Shopping. This is what the show is made for. Rock, next time you got to come on. We got to talk about it. I know you're Under Armour. We'll
That's
talk
what I'm
about
saying.
that too. Well, you don't think I know the UFC, that I've been to Dana White's office multiple times? What?
I'll let him interrupt from now on.
Anyway, great fit. I love that nostalgia. This is like totally me. This is what I nerd out over.
No, I'm just saying, like, back in that era, it's like anytime you saw like a kid who had a shoe with the with bubbles on the bottom, not just like an Air Max on the bubble on the heel, but those Air Max running shoes with like the full length air on them, like talking what you said, 1998, 1999.
Yeah.
Maybe some kid had like a puka shell necklace on.
Maybe.
You know what reminds me of that era so much was that campaigns back then really stood out and really kind of like added to the mystique of you getting the shoe, especially if you were in that age bracket that Matt's talking about, where it's like you went to school and people were just like, what is that?
Yep.
Oh, that's from this commercial, that's from this player, or that's from this campaign. And I remember during that era, I've been looking for this campaign for a while online, and I've only found spurts of it. Maybe now that I have like a whole research team we could find. But do you remember that there was like a comic book style campaign for like TNs, Tailwinds, and it was like the Max versus Air Max, and it was like this monster that was the Max monster. It was a whole comic book for this. Do y'all remember this?
I vaguely remember.
The Hirachis also followed in that same campaign. It was Hirachi Max. And basically, like, it was a monster. It was a purple monster with a big claw. That nostalgia to me, it was like wearing, we talk about the East Bay catalog. I was like, wearing those shoes where you could have like a reference to a magazine or to an ad or to a commercial, and people recognized it and was like, oh, that's the one from X, Y, Z, whatever.
Yeah.
That was the number one, like, feeling in the world, to have that, like, recognition for having the one thing. Those, by far, the Tailwinds, by far were the, like you said, more, damn, you got some money. You got some dollars.
Yep. And then when you got your first check, you're like, oh, I'm getting the Tailwinds. Like, you put them on hold.
What's the best colorway?
There's a lot. I would have to look back. But like
Blue and yellow.
That
that's
blue
the
and yellow
Michigan
was
one,
crazy.
right? The Michigan one. That's the one that I
associate with the time.
Yeah. There's a lot. I remember this
neon,
one.
The white and neon.
I remember this one. This blue.
That blue one is ice blue is crazy too.
But what a time! And
I love when movies are accurate like
costume
that too.
Whoever did this costume,
whoever's the
props to them.
costume design. Shout to like somebody who I think does it real well is those 50 Cent series is.
Yeah.
They get all of their
Power.
stuff from my guy Lade. If you guys look up Die Fresh, They're like a museum / archival, Power, BMF, all of those shows. A lot of those shows get their vintage from him, and he has like all of the original Coogis, the original Adidas, the original Olympic wear, all of that. The sneakers too. He has everything, and I love when costume designers get that granular and that like detailed with making sure the stuff is right for the time.
Definitely goes a long way. Before we get out of here, I want to get your take on this. Last night, Bronson Reed wore Jordan 4s, Fire Red.
He's the one who's been stealing.
Yes, Tribal Thief.
Yep.
Refer to him as that, please. Roman Reigns wore the Undefeated 4s, which we established. Complex Sneakers gets in on the action. You and your sneakers versus the guy she told you not to worry about and his sneakers. Undefeated 4s versus Fire Red 4s. Big Bronson Reed retweets not Complex Sneakers shitting on the OG colorways. Oh, got our head in a beam a little bit.
Sheesh.
Fair play. He clapped back, Bronson Reed. But what do we think about that? Undefeateds are better, though.
They are, but it's one of those things that it's just
not at
like,
the expense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you show up in the brick by brick 4s and someone that has bread 4s on, you can't be like, oh man, I crapped all over you because of
bread
it.
4s all day. I feel like it depends on the colorway. Fire Red, although OG, not my favorite.
I may have to call up Paul Heyman and see what he thinks about this. The wise man, the only one who could settle it.
You didn't like the one with the Mars Blackman on the heel?
I did like that.
The Fire
Andrew,
Reds?
My friend Andrew, who thought that the Green Bean 5s were spray painted on, he got those. He wouldn't sell them to me. He wouldn't sell. The only thing about those, the quality's really bad.
All those Jordan, we've talked about that.
Those especially, though.
All the Jordan.
The Mars Blackman.
Military 4s, that era, so bad.
The Mars Blackman, I remember that heavily because it's a white... It's a white 4, and I wanted it.
You broke the rule for that, or you were going to?
No, he wouldn't sell them to me. He wouldn't sell them to me. That's why I remembered it.
Is that your real disdain towards white Air Jordans?
No.
Because you couldn't get them when you wanted to?
No, but he wouldn't sell them to me. But I just remember the quality folding. Not good.
If you want to talk about skinny jeans that don't fit sneakers, that, in my opinion, didn't age well.
Right.
Margiela Futures are coming back.
How many pairs of those? I could see you in front of a car with the.
It's funny how you're giving me like the end of the trend when I'm at the beginning of the trend. Like that was the end of the trend. I always did.
You never had a pair?
Never.
Really?
Never.
I feel like this would be a big upscale shoe.
Nah, you know what the right upscale shoe is in that Margiela collection that went crazy and it's still going platinum? The Line 22 high top replica.
Okay.
Cutouts, full, like all of those. Line 22s, I feel like that was the real Margiela shoe that everybody in Soho was on. That's the one, the cutouts and every other color. But I love that the shoe is coming back during a time where like the hype beast kid that originated that shoe and like the Givenchy t-shirt, Rottweiler t-shirt skinny jean era is now
40-year-old dad who's wearing New Balances.
Exactly. So he's like way older into the fashion spectrum, but now he's still fashionable.
Yeah.
But like I know he's not returning to that silhouette. So like the new kids, I don't know if you saw them, but they're a little bit more ramped up. They've made new iterations where the straps or like the wraps are a lot more exaggerated. I feel like that shoe did a lot for crossing streetwear over into designer, right? When we think of the Taz Arnold era, the Teaser snapbacks, the POW chains.
JLP wearing the Saint Laurent Jordan 1s.
Yeah, where that was Rob Garcia was the first one on those.
We all were, but we're heavy on SLP
They
ones.
had them first. I remember, I believe that whole On Noir crew had them first for sure, but I remember I think I got them for my first trip to Tokyo.
Which
black
color?
And blue ones. I think
black and blue. Yeah, the Royals were
I
crazy.
remember I brought them in.
I still have all three.
Leather pants?
Did I pack the leather for Tokyo? I'd have to check. Real quick though, we got to touch on this because to be honest, there's two parts of this. One, the Virgil archive, awesome,
amazing.
Bree was there, such you know, I love that he kept everything. I read the GQ article, and like they said that he kept everything, pens, but then also bags, and it's laid out in such a great way. But we do have to prop Sneaker Den for this. This is one where like old JLP, like content meeting would have been like, hey guys, why didn't we do this? This is like total 2014. Like, yo,
shout out to Sneaker Den.
Did you see this post?
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
So all the archival designs that Virgil did on sneakers, you know, the Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones inspired by the 2000s Brazil Bapesta, the olive Bapesta, basically informing another Louis Vuitton Air Force One, the Olympic the
Olympic
big
Air
Rudy
Force.
Calderon shoe, Olympic Air Force One 2006.
Dunks.
Yes. So definitely go check out this post. It's a peek into Virgil's mind of how to bring the old and the new. 2007 Crocodile Air Force Ones. I call these are like Mayer's signature shoe. Every time he showed a closet, to have a Crocodile
Air Force One,
LV
Vuitton,
Air Force One. Great post. A post I'm jealous of. Shouts to Sneaker Den.
I think that like the Virgil archive is a lot more important than people are letting on. It was ill to see it kind of managed and curated like this. Shout to Sarah Edelman, you know, from Colette, who helped with the curation, and it was really palatable to our demographic and our age groups. And I feel like that needs to happen more for sneakers to get their just due in how important it's been in fashion overall and culture overall.
Yeah, and I love that he just saved everything and used each thing for references and like took things apart and stuff like that. So definitely an amazing installation, and if you're in Paris, you lucked out to go see that.
Yep.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment. We will see you, GRs, next week.